y me hablaron acerca de los aceites esenciales por Jody Rabinoff, que es un placer para mí verla en esta llamada. Ella es mi upline y ella fue la que me presentó a los aceites hace 3 años en la sala de su casa y jamás me imaginé que iba de verdad a cambiar mi vida. Así que pues Jody no habla mucho español, pero nos va a dar un saludo muy cortito. Jody.
Shalom. Yo quiero hablar español mucho, pero yo no estudio mucho. So, hola, amigos y amigas, and I love you.
Gracias, Jody. Muchas gracias. Bueno, yo de verdad quiero honrar a Jody. Jody, ella lleva ya una carrera de 40 años como naturópata, incluyendo 10 años que tuvo su propio centro de salud en la Florida, Estados Unidos. Y si no fuera por ella, de verdad, yo hoy no estaría
And
aquí.
if it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't have heard her. And we have Anne Catherine and Bodo Siegel, who are also joining us from Germany. And it's been a pleasure to count with them, who are part of our team, which it really isn't a team, it's a family, it's a pleasure. It's now our 4th call. We've been with these calls now for 4 months in a row, once a month. So let Guillermo and Carolina know that we have people joining us from many different countries and continents in the world. We have people connected from Israel, Germany, Spain, United Kingdom, United States, Canada, Mexico, Ecuador, Colombia, and if I've forgotten any country, I apologize. There's several. We are super international, so for us, it is truly a privilege to have you with us. This is our first all Spanish call. And before we have the opportunity of introducing you formally, I want to introduce my father, who's connected from the United Kingdom. He introduced me to you a few months ago now. So, Dad, all yours. Good afternoon to you all. Dear friends, I want to introduce my wife, Clara, who's also Colombian, like Guillermo and Carolina Duque, and want to welcome Guillermo and Carolina. doTERRA is all about a family. That's the most beautiful thing. It's that atmosphere as a family that joins us and unites us. And as we are family, some beloved friends in Mexico introduced us to Priscilla Rodriguez, and Priscilla Rodriguez, with a lot of care, also said, yes, I know Guillermo and Carolina Duque in Colombia, and I'm going to look at the way of connecting you with them. Back then, we were also in doTERRA as a business. Our daughter was also doing it from Colombia. So they are from Alice Sedabi upline, who is making a very powerful contribution in doTERRA to help us be as healthy as possible. So a very warm greeting from us since all the way from the UK. Thank you for making the most of your time to be with us. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure, and we want to hear everything that you want to tell us. Thank you so much. A very good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and thank you for the invite. It's great to be here sharing with you, no matter what organization you belong to. As you say, well, we are family, and there are no limits when we talk about family. Excellent. Thank you so much. We know that you are in a beautiful place. Tell us exactly in what part of Colombia are you joining us from? Tell us a little bit about you. Who is Guillermo and Carolina Duque Gonzalez? Well, right now we live in Pereira. Pereira is the coffee region of Colombia. It's a very green part, as you can see, many trees, a lot of nature, and we are here at our home next to our children, my mom, and well, We have been married for 14 years, and we are in marketing networks for almost more than 20 years. This has been an incredible journey for us. doTERRA is incredible, and it's so cool to be sharing with you our story and what we've done and how we've been with doTERRA. Wonderful. Yes, please tell us a little bit. I think that the first area that's impacted is your personal area, your health. Tell us a little bit what your health challenges were and how did you overcome them? Wow. Well, if I could tell you, my goodness, everything that we have done with essential oils in our own lives, I could be speaking from hair in the crown of my head to the tip of my toes. We've had many personal challenges and almost as well from all of our family circle since we got to know doTERRA. It's been a positive experience after positive experience, all the aspects of our life. In my case, for example, I had a problem, complex problem in my digestive system, and about 3 years ago now, a complex problem with my prostate. And the essential oils were something incredible. We just had no idea that with essential oils, we were able to be overcoming every situation and problem that we had in health, even in our very own home. And I think nobody escapes from these kind of situations, whether they be from their first inner family circle or extended family circle. I think there are health problems and challenges that must be overcome in every family, and we have been no exception. Let me tell you that it was so surprising that with those products, with the digestive system, with frankincense, we were able to overcome the digestive issue with phenol as well. And about 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with chronic migraines, and practically every single month, the amount of tablets that I had to take to be able to manage my issue with migraines. And given that I was taking so much medication, this also generated chronic gastritis. When I then asked and got to know doTERRA, I was already in a very complex situation on a digestive level. My migraine was terrible. I started to use the essential oils, and the first time that we bought the family kit and we started to use all of them, we started to use the oils. I started to use frankincense, mint. I started to use deep blue as well around my head. I'm going to be sharing some of these on screen as well. Yeah, I use that a lot around my head. You don't really take it or digest it, but it's really for skin. It works very well. I had to use this a lot, almost every hour, 2 hours when I had my migraine crises. But I have spent years where I haven't had even more migraine crises. I use mint because I share peppermint with many, but not because I have a specific migraine crisis. So that for me was amazing. The diet sin, Sengest it's called in other countries. I think this is an incredible essential oil. I use that for my digestive issue because the pain that I would feel in my stomach was so terrible when I had the gastritis and reflux. So I started to take one drop of Sengest under my tongue after every single meal and just before going to bed, because that was when I would have most reflux. That helped me the most. In fact, I never had to use medication ever again for gastritis. And really, those were the oils that I use the most, and I use them so much. There are many oils, and you kind of fall in love with this world, and you just kind of want to have all the oils. So, yes, it's been wonderful. And you also have small children. Many people doubt, oh, how are children going to react to the oils and could they react well? But we obviously give indications, instructions, but we want to know what kind of worked the best for you. How early on did you use them with your children? Well, look, when we started with doTERRA, my daughter was 2 years old and my son was 6. And when we started with them, they were going to change location. They started to do some housework here. I'm very sorry. Sure, no problem. So the, I realized that the kids had some breathing allergies just when we would start Christmas, when we started to put on the Christmas decorations and started to bring things out of the decorations. I realized that that had a lot of glitter, and just after we would put out all of these decorations, that was when they started to had have a type of asthma breathing condition. And after that, what we started to do was use inhalers and asthma medication. It was incredible. And I started to use the basic kit for the family kit, and I used Breathe. I used Zengest. It's very good. Zengest is very good because it helps us to eject phlegm. So anybody who has rhinitis or sinusitis, it helps us to cough up and expectorate with Zengest to be able to take out all the phlegm. So I use this a lot. It can be put on the skin, on your forehead, on your nose, on your lungs, on your stomach. And together with Breathe and On Guard, the On Guard helped us if there are bacteria or virus in the body. This helps us to raise our immune system. So on the sole of my feet, I used it all on their skin together with fractionated coconut oil. So I started that routine with those three mostly: On Guard, Breathe, and Sengest. With those three, it was incredible. They started to expectorate the phlegms, and I never had to use inhalers with them ever again. And now they are doTERRA kids. They are absolute believers. They love every time that they have some kind of illness or pain, they ask for doTERRA. My daughter just woke up with some congestion. She went over to my oil. She took out some mint. She put a drop on her hand, and then she's like, "Yep, good morning." So they know how it is. Tremendous. Wow. So this isn't just an issue of both of you, but it's become family. And yeah, it's interesting because this can happen to any of you in a given moment, or anybody that's going to start to arrive to your organizations. And at the beginning, because it is normal in most of our family circle, we won't be believed. You won't be trusted around the power of the essential oils and that positive influence that essential oils can help us in taking care of our health. And there might be some resistance at the beginning, but don't lose faith. Don't worry, because that is going to start to change. And I know why I tell you, the moment will come when on their own, they will look for you and they are going to ask you that you would be the ones to help them with essential oils because it is going to happen. When is it going to happen? When they are in a complex health issue or when they realize that you are starting to go up in success on the ladder of the terra. And when then those alert bells will start to sound. And it's normal because they've never seen us before in anything else different to that which is traditional. Well, it's logical. They have that slight inclination to resist. So that's my first tip. Do not give up. Do not waver. I'm sure that further along, they will want to start to use the essential oils. Now, if your family is already using them, then that's wonderful. Feel that you've already got some
Sí, es
part of
verdad.
the
El
path
camino
already
natural no siempre es
covered.
el más ancho,
Yeah,
no siempre el más
on
fácil.
natural
Y
medicine, it's
siempre
not
los
always the
obstáculos son los
easiest path.
primeros como que
And our
nos dan
family
como
are
ese
the first
puntito
ones
rojo,
that
¿no?
they
Y
don't
nos dicen,
hide
pero
their
¿cómo estás
surprise.
parando
What
esto?
is
Tienes
this
que
that
seguir
you're
tomando
using? Or
esto
many that will
todo el día
say,
el
you
medicamento
can't
porque estás
leave your
pasando por esto.
medication
Gracias
even if
por
you
esas
feel better.
palabras
So
porque de verdad
thank you for
son
those words
significativas,
because
pero
I
sí
know
es
that there are
cierto.
many listening and
Bueno,
this is
entonces,
of
pues
great
hasta ahora
encouragement to them.
ustedes
But
no
tell
entraron a
us,
terra tan solo por los aceites. Esto fue más
you
tarde.
didn't go into the
Ahora
Terra just
podemos ir
because
por
of the
tema
essential
business. A
oils.
ver, ¿cómo
Let's
fue
move
que
around in terms of
estabas
the
haciendo la terra?
business
¿Por qué
aspects of
fueron
things.
primero
When was it
terra por
that you
las
first
ofertas que hay allá afuera?
came in touch, and why was the Terra the company that stood out the most from other MLMs? Well, with my wife, she's been in the business for network marketing for 14 years, and in my case, I've been almost in this kind of business for 26 years. So I was already in an entrepreneurship, and my wife was with me for 2 years, where we were already diamond, and we had organizations in 14 countries. And it was surprising because the partner of Alice was corporate in that company where we are diamond, and he was a corporate there, and he gave in his resignation letter, and he went over to build doTERRA. So he called us and he said, hey, I want to invite you. I know that you've not seen me in that role of building, but it was something so surprising that I've seen here. And besides the fact that we have the opportunity to associate with the number one leader of doTERRA in the world, well, I want you to just pay attention to this option, this possibility, because this could mean that you would build something that's 10 to 20 times larger than what you've done in the company that you've done. And because he knew us and he knew what we had done and he knew the characteristics of the company, previous company, they invited us over. Why don't you tell that part? Yeah, we've not gone there. So the Terrace headquarters is in Utah. Yep, well, we had the amazing blessing of traveling to Utah. We got to know the company. That is just something that is magical, majestic, spectacular. It's so beautiful, the Terra facilities, and we had the opportunity of having a tour all over the company. Just diagonal to the Terra, there is a building where Oil Life is, and Oil Life is part of Alice. So all of this building is there for the team. It's something so incredible. It's the building where Alice team plus the Terra is there. And we were at an event where she invited platinum diamonds and blue diamonds of her team. We were attending just as observers because we were going to explore if we were interested or not. We had a conversation with Alice. South America is about to open. We're looking for a person that will be wanting to support us with the opening of Latin America, and we loved it. I love the essential oils. I kind of, it was like love at first sight. We were there with our children because for Alice, it was super important that we were there as a family. And so we took our children with us. And for us, it was complicated because we got there when it was starting to snow, and I was very scared because of how my children was with inhalers, so I was totally equipped. And when it started to snow, I was absolutely in shock and dreading the moment it was starting to snow. But with my box of oils, the whole thing changed. And well, when we got to know the company and got to know the team, definitely we understood that it was the best option because of all the characteristics that we could find there, which were a marvelous product that we can really make an impact on people's lives. Behind all of that, a company that is so solid, zero debt, with firm foundations, with monthly revenue that it has, and with the expansion and growth that it's been having. Because for us, it was incredible that a company that was so young was already thinking about opening Colombia market. And Colombia is a market that companies reach when they've gone all around the world. So they've said, this is great because we can expand all over the world. And when we began, there was nothing in Spanish, everything was in English. And what we did was, in spite of us not being a great experts in the language, was what we was try to do whatever we had to do to translate and make available the material to people. It was so vital that we would have a system, a training system that would be easy and replicate and easy to replicate, because something that we understand and it's clear, we've got to do this kind of business simple and easy to replicate. And we had the LS system, so we had all the tools, all the strategies, everything that we needed to make the decision. So the only thing that we needed to do was to say yes, and not just yes, I'm going to try it. It was just yes, I'm all in with full determination, and we were going to start to work. And that's what we've done since we began 4.5 years ago. We've worked very hard. All of that process for opening the Colombian market was very hard because the Terra took longer than what it was supposedly going to take to open. So many teams left, many lines fell over on the path. We had to build them up again and look at other places. And in the midst of that journey, we managed to build teams in Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Mexico, USA, of course, Colombia. Europe, we've got people as well. So this has been a wonderful experience, a wonderful journey. And our focus has been exactly that, to always be there, to support, to train, to show the ALES system, because it's a winning system. I'm just going to make a quick break because many have reached this page, going back, volveralosbásicos.com, and a voice in Spanish. When you hear those calls, and Alice is one of us are brand new. I've only been in doTERRA as 6 months, for 6 months as a business, but perhaps you don't know the names and titles, but Alice is one of those people that could easily have 1/3 of global clients of doTERRA around the world, a very big percentage. She's reaching practically 2 million distributors, and she has specialized in a replicating methodology and teaching methodology. I want to tell you a little bit in that topic of network marketing. There are some aspects and factors that are too relevant, too important when it comes down to building. And one of them is to have a system that is easy and simple to replicate. Something that anybody who hears you to, when they hear you say it, they can say, I can even do it better than them. It's easy to do. That man that's there is having results in a way that he speaks and what the way that he's saying it, I can pass him by far. Now, if those people that are in front of you think and feel that, then you have a model that is easy to replicate. And that is the foundation of success in anything that you do in network marketing. And Alice, of course, understood this. I don't know if you know it. Alice is the only triple diamond that doTERRA has in the world. So she became diamond in 12 months, residential diamond in 18 months the first time, first 10 months, and then 8 months. So it's remarkable growth. Now, when something like that happens, I'm sure she's doing something interesting. Surely what she's doing is working, of course. So her success and the entire system that she's putting on is totally put on into those 50 meetings. Listen to those, apply it, and I can assure you that you are practically guaranteed to reach diamond, blue diamond, or presidential diamond. Now, when we were in Utah with Alice, she was telling us that doTERRA was not an explosive business, but it was a very sustainable growth business, and that was part of what we were looking for, that we would have stability and sustainability over time. And she said, if you follow the system, if you put on those basic activities that the system recommends that aren't things out of the world. It's an introductory class, it's contact and follow-up, it's a well-being consultation, things that are well explained on those calls, and you stand or take on or stay on for at least 24 months, no matter what happens in 1 week, if it's a bank holiday, if it's your birthday, if it's Mother's Day, if it's Christmas, no matter what happens in those 24 months, if you just keep going and are consistent on those activities during those 24 months, you are going to be having a business of no return and a business that's going to endure on its own and that will allow you to have financial freedom. You will minimum build platinum or very stable diamonds. So you kind of sometimes get desperate and sometimes you want to have instant results. But every time that you share a sample or a drop of essential oils, every time you do an introductory class, in reality, what you're doing is sowing for a wonderful harvest. And something that was so impressive when I started to hear these calls is that, well, I think everybody's been offered an network marketing or multi-level marketing product. And sometimes people feel pressure that they have to purchase, that they have to do the business. So I kind of came on with a lot of caution, but Alice is so simple, so easygoing, so relaxed. Tell us a bit about that DNA, because you've seen a lot of network marketing companies around the world, and some people have been there for a month or 2 months time. I've not seen the results. Why should I persevere till 24 months time? Well, thanks for that question. That question leads us to talk and come into the context of network marketing. doTERRA is like a sui generis company in the leaders. It's like an oasis in the midst of a desert. Right. Yep, I got it. In network marketing, we're speaking of roughly 90% of companies launch products for beauty, well-being, nutrition, weight control, and some that are linked to technology. Now, network marketing have only been able to reach an efficient 10 to 15% of the potential market. What happens with doTERRA, and why has doTERRA experienced such success? Well, doTERRA not only arrived with some products that are really relevant and that mark a clear difference, because in network marketing, anybody that wants to work must have exclusive products that nobody else can have. Right. So what happens? Well, that is the reason why doTERRA, besides the way it takes its message to the world, and it changed the way while 99% of network marketing companies speak of a business opportunity, doTERRA speaks of well-being. It speaks of how the way you can change of caring of your health. Then we speak of business. Now, that way of doing things and the characteristics of the product and doing the business then caused how doTERRA in 10 years would be able to do what no other company has been able to do in the United States, where there are more than 3,000 network marketing companies. In just 10 years, they managed to put a company like Amway with more than 65 years of the market and more than 30 years being in the number one sales company in the United States. 10 years in, doTERRA managed to overcome Amway in national market sales in the United States. And we're speaking a company that's just 10 years old, new on the scene, against a company that had been so long. Now, what's so special about that company? And the special is this, what I've just said. So what did that do for us in the context of why would I recommend that you would persevere with doTERRA? Because it doesn't matter what country you're in, there'll always be people with health issues. There's still going to be people that are looking desperately for a solution, a different solution to look after their health. And unfortunately, they have not been able to find true solutions, and we can give them to them. They are different solutions. So we're speaking of a very large market because we're able to reach that 85% that the rest of network marketing companies can't do. But besides that, in a more efficient manner. Now, it doesn't matter what country you're connected from, wherever you are, when doTERRA arrives, the same thing is going to happen that happened in the market of the United States. So I don't know about you, but when we saw this, when we detected this and had the vision of saying, I want to be part of that, it doesn't matter what I have to do or the time that I have to wait, doing what I have to do to be part of this. And that is exactly the decision that we made. And that is exactly what has happened to us. What the owners of the company told us and what Alice and Patrick and Dan said to us was exactly what has happened to us throughout this journey. So I can look at you in the eye, wherever you are connected from, Germany, Israel, wherever you are connecting from. If you do this with the level of commitment that's required and you participate and engage in the way that's necessary and you wait the sufficient amount of time, you will go through the same experience. This is going to change your life, no doubt, because we've seen this not only in ourselves, but in many other people in our organization, in our downline, that are starting to experience the same thing. So this is not reserved for some and not for others, because I don't have two more heads or six more legs than you do to kind of think that I can reason better. No, we have all the same skills, the same capabilities. If one can do it, then any of us can also make it. Wow, tremendous. What an amazing motivation. Thank you, Guillermo. And so to give some last closing remarks for Vision, and we want to give our audience the opportunity to ask questions as well. You were mentioning this vision that it is possible for all, for everybody. What is your dream? What is it that has led you, has driven you? What is the dream that you're pursuing? You're talking about transformation in families, health. Or Carolina, maybe if you want to tell us, what is your vision? What is your dream? And what is it that you're saying that you can reach in doTERRA? Well, I want to tell you the most visionary of all is Guillermo. I'm more of doing, but I want to tell you a little bit because when we began doTERRA, Guille had that vision very clear. And in fact, if you ask him, he's got the numbers, he knows how many families, he knows how many countries, he's extremely visionary. But in my case, I was starting to say, okay, my first important objective is to have prosperity in my family and my immediate family circle. And that was my first vision when I began doTERRA, that we would be able to have that prosperity, that sufficient amount of money to not to have to doubt if we were going to pay for our children's school, groceries. So that was all covered, and I worked very hard with Guillermo to be able to reach that. I obviously had a short term, and he was just light years ahead of me, long term vision. And in these days, I was saying to him that it's incredible that for me, what began as a vision of my family that wouldn't go beyond the walls of my house, it has impacted so many people's lives, so many families around the world. And now, thanks to that determination of saying, okay, I want to leave my comfort zone and I want to increase that abundance, that prosperity in my family. Well, now we have no limits. There are no borders of any nature. So initially it was that. And then when I said, oh, it would be wonderful to help other moms, I wanted to focus on women with children, that they would also be able to grow professionally and inside their families, to be productive, to be able to have the money to also contribute to their homes, to be able to have their children healthy, and to be able to do this in a professional way. So I started to join other women. Well, with Guille, we've joined couples, men as well. We've got all kinds of groups, but there's many more women than men. And now the vision. What's the vision? Well, the vision really is to develop at least 1 million leaders in our organization in the next 10 years. 1 million leaders that will allow us to reach more than 100 million families in the world, that will be able to change how they care for their health. I think that's very much aligned with the purpose of life for us. That's what we found in doTERRA, and that kind of led us to make that decision, because as you can understand, after being in a company for 10 years, to make a decision of changing, having organization and having everything there, it's not easy. It's a decision that must have a lot of security, it must be well thought, and so visualizing and envisioning a better future for those in the future, because that is what leadership is all about. It's not how or where Carolina Guillermo can reach, but how many people we can take with us on that journey. So the issue here is, this is a very big mission and a very big vision, but it's driven by doTERRA's vision, which is larger, which is to empower people with their health and to empower every person in the world that will begin to take essential oils, not only with their health, but also with their financial area. In 4 years, we've seen so many people that are those that are part of our downline and others that are not. This has definitely changed our lives, and they were very close to saying no to this alternative, very close. But we kind of said, what would have happened if we wouldn't have accepted that invitation from Alice? As you well said, Caroline, when you were speaking of Jody, where you were saying, if it had not been for Jody, you will probably not be with us in this moment or participating in essential oils. And that is a little bit to what's happening to each one of us here. So how many of you would like to touch other people's lives just as yours and ours has been? Because there are more people out there, more than 10,000 million people, 10 billion people waiting for people to touch them and tell them there are better opportunities. You know what? If this is possible for others, this is possible for you too. How about we work on this together, and we can then make this better for you and for all of your family. And that's the mission.
Tremendo, tremendo. Ya me
Wow,
dio como,
tremendous. Man, I'm already
ya me
empowered.
siento
I'm
súper,
feeling
súper
so
motivada
inspired.
por esta
I'm seeing
charla
Jody
que
clapping there in
acaba
her
de dar.
camera. She's
Y
so
bueno, queremos invitar a nuestra
encouraged,
audiencia
and
para
we
que
want to
por
invite our
favor
audience in the little
hagan
few
clic en
minutes
la
that we
parte de
have
abajo de
left.
su pantalla.
Please
Hay un
click
botón que se
on
llama
the
Q&A
Q&A
o
button
Q&A, que le pueden hacer clic ahí y
for
nos mandan
questions and
cualquier
answers.
pregunta
Click
de
on that
cualquier
and then
tema
quickly type
a
up
Guillermo, de
a question on anything that they have mentioned today, this is your opportunity today to cross that geographical barrier, that language barrier, and make that question. And while you start typing those questions, you can do that in English, in German, in Spanish. We have a question to kick off on behalf of Jody, and that is, what were some of the greatest challenges in succeeding in doTERRA, and how would you encourage others in following the path of achieving higher ranks in doTERRA and how they can reach those higher ranks? Okay, well, it's well known by others, the greatest challenge to advancing is ourselves. And the topic with most people is that they are always looking for those motives outside of themselves. Because they look for those reasons outside of themselves, then no motive, no reason, no drive will give them the sufficient strength to develop anything in their lives. But if you look at working in yourself and knowing what those reasons inside of you move you, drive you, and that project that you're going to take on, doTERRA, for example, is aligned with your purpose for life, and that must be very clear. We must all have a purpose for living. Some of us have that clearly defined, but others perhaps do not. So you should start to begin by defining that, defining what is your purpose of life, and then start to seeing how doTERRA can fit into that purpose of life, because then that is going to become an unquestionable reason or source of encouragement. There will always be challenges in life, and the greatest challenge for us in all of this process was, for example, excuse me the expression that I'm going to use, but we got into this mad cow, crazy cow. Let's see how that comes on in translation. Yeah, this madness of opening up countries that weren't even officially opened by doTERRA. And that was a huge, huge challenge because we had to find the logistics, the careers, the mailboxes in Miami at the beginning, especially in Chile, Ecuador, Colombia. We would take up to 60 to 70 days to make orders reach them. Sometimes we would get essential oils that were spilled, and after 20 days or month waiting for their product to arrive to them, and the deep blue was all spilled, and we had deep blue inventory. Don't worry, let's change. I'll then take the open one, and because we were the face for doTERRA to them, and we could not allow that because this was our business. We were looking after our own business, and we understood that we obviously had to work hard and looking onto all those kinds of situations. Otherwise, we would just throw the towel. So we had to personally respond to every person, and then we then look to see how we can solve all of this with doTERRA. So that was one of the greatest challenges as to how we could maintain, uphold these people until doTERRA had the opportunity to officially open countries such as Colombia. Well, for me, one of the greatest challenges that a person can have is to find those CCs, those that are capable and committed, that are going to be there shoulder to shoulder. And you kind of invest so much time, so much energy into people. You give it all your trust and all your faith, and it's about a month or 2 months ago after they'll say, no, I'm not interested. And leaders will say, no, I'm not going to go. So it's not easy. But if we have that purpose that Gigi is saying, then next, let's find another objective, because yes, or yes, you will reach your goals and objectives. And it's in this purpose, and to answer the question of Jody, when Jody said, well, when the company did not officially open in Colombia, half of our team left. They turned the heel on us, and we were ready to go for diamond, and they half the team left. That was such a blow to our mood, to our desire, but the purpose that just became bigger, and that was what really kept us going. So define your purpose of life, and that will help you steer through any of the challenges and storms that life will throw at you, because you will come against them. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow.
Entiendo. Hablando
Tremendous.
una
Now,
pregunta más para Carolina.
a question
¿Cómo
more for
manejan
Carolina.
este
How
tipo de
do you
ritmo?
manage
Porque
this
uno
kind
como
of
que
rhythm
como
with
mamá,
small
¿no? Uno
children as a
como que quiere
mom?
su para
How do
todo y
you
es verdad,
have time
las
for
mamás
everything? Because it's true.
sobresaltan a las
Most
mujeres. Así que
entrepreneurs
vamos
in
allá,
doTERRA are
Carolina.
women, and most will have children.
Bueno, mira, yo
Well,
tuve una fortuna y es que mis
listen,
papás me
I've
ayudan
been
con
very
mucho con
fortunate.
el
My
tema
mom
de
helps me so
pedagogía,
much.
ella es
She's actually with the
pediatra
kids, helping them with their
y
virtual
también
classes. And
estamos viviendo como
we
unos
were
meses difíciles
also
en Nueva
living
York,
in New
donde
York
me
for 6 months,
tocó pues
where I
hacer
had to, yep,
todo, mamá,
be all in one:
todo,
mom,
aprender,
work,
todo era
doTERRA,
y es muy
everything
chévere
at the
porque
same
para
time. And it's
nosotros
very
es
interesting
como
because
compartir esas
when you're
memorias
able
con
to
nuestros
share those
hijos
goals and
y que
objectives with
ellos
them,
se sientan
and that
parte
they would
de,
be
de
feeling
Wow.
that
todo
they
lo
are
que
part of the
vamos a hacer
team.
en un
No,
futuro,
it's not I'm going to
pues
work. No, you are part of the team.
súper
You are
chévere. En
part
ese trabajo nos
of
vamos a
this
preguntarle, ¿qué quieres
endeavor.
tú? De hecho,
What do you want? We
como
would
pregunta
actually
muy
tell them,
chévere,
we would
¿qué
ask
harías
them,
tú
what would you want
cuando logremos el diamante? Y ellos serán, bueno, listo, ¿qué
to do
hacemos?
when we
Bueno, pues
become
empezamos
diamond?
a
All right,
planear
so what do we have to do to
cómo
become diamond? So
preparamos nuestro
when we
diamante.
achieved it, our
Imprimieron
son
unos
printed
afiches y
some
él se sintió
posters,
parte
and
de
he
la
felt he was part
como que
of the
lo
team, like
sentimos
we
también.
made it.
Y nos llevó
And
unos
he kind of gave us
también
some
unos
um,
diplomas. Y
diplomas.
nos vino
He
y nos
printed
dijo,
them and he gave them to us.
bueno,
Look,
Sofía es
Grandma, you're diamond.
diamante,
Sophia, you're a diamond.
Camilo es diamante,
Camilo's a diamond. They're too small. They want working for that goal. You want to go to this place, that place, that dream that you've always had. We're going to be having a conference. Give me 1 hour. And after 1 hour,
corriendo por
we're
todo.
going to be going all over, but we're going to be having a conference. We're going to be having a video call, or we'll
Ahí
finish
vamos
this and then
a continuar
we'll
con la
continue
tarea.
with your
Pues
homework,
al
with
final
games,
el
with
éxito es como
everything else.
muy,
So
muy negociado con ellos.
it's always been very negotiated with them. Yeah, and that they would always be fully informed, because if you manage to make your purpose and objective in the Terra a purpose for family, then that purpose, everything is going to conjugate so that that is possible. Because when children are small, they definitely understand that their parents are working for a better future for the family. So that we always involve them 100%. And I think that has been a key of the result and focus of
¿Y cuando
Caroline
llegan
in all of that
esos
process.
momentos
Now, when those
de
moments of
estrés, mamá?
stress come, how do you
¿Cómo
manage it?
manejan el estrés? A ver,
How do you manage stress? Help us, help us.
los aceites.
Oils, orange peel. No, well, obviously every family has stressful moments, and
El tema es poder como
the topic
marcar
there
horarios,
is how
marcar
we
horarios
manage
con los líderes,
timetables with
con el
leaders,
equipo,
with the
porque
team,
se deben entender que
which
un
must be
domingo
understood that
en las noches
one Sunday or in
hay
evenings,
ciertos
or
días en que obviamente
there are
usted se va a
moments during
dedicar
the
a
day
eso,
where you're going to be dedicated to them, and that they know that.
a prestarle
Leaders
muchas
know
cosas. Yo respondo
and
todo,
ask many things. I answer very quickly, but
pero ellos saben que si no lo hago ya es porque
if
tengo
I
algo
don't do it
urgente
immediately,
y
they know because I have
y
something
va a
going
ser
on
a
with the
eso
kids, and
y
I
lo
will get round to
solucionamos.
them later on.
Pero yo
But
siento que nosotros somos
I think that
como muy de dialogar,
we're always into
más
dialogue
de preguntar,
more than
de
asking,
reaccionar.
not so much about reacting. So
No sé, como que no hay
I
muchos
don't know.
momentos así como
It's
muy
not like there are many
dramáticos.
crazy, stressful moments. I mean, to truth be said, that we're so aligned with this that
Hay que prenderlo con
extreme
música.
stressful moments, you've got to put on a diffuser. I mean, we've not had them, but let me tell you something. There are moments where perhaps with your spouse or partner, you're going through situations when both are focused on the same thing, then it's much more simple for things to be understood and processed. If you arrive late from a meeting, or you just got to make a call at 9 p.m. in the evening because it's unavoidable, because it's a leader in another country, or because of time difference, you've got to make that call and you're going to be on it for an hour, 2 hours, then your spouse or your partner won't be angry because you're on the phone when you should be perhaps dedicating more time to your family. But when you're on the same thing, it's simple. But when it's not the case, then you've got to reach agreements and agreements in terms of those spaces, those things where you do allow things to be done and not. We've seen it too many times in very successful couples that each of them has their own activities. She's on doTERRA, he does not, or he is not, and we managed that he would give her the support that she needs, generating a balance and not being that stone in the shoe. And it's not only about reaching those agreements, and the agreement is, hey, we're going to go out for a date in the night. I won't even accept calls 3 to 6 to 7, but it's also about sharing that dream or sharing that purpose with your spouse, because it's not just I'm going to be working because it's my hobby and I'm going to just lose time there. It's about what am I wanting to achieve. And if I'm able to transmit that dream to my spouse, my children, then they're going to understand that a call is not a call. A call is a step on that ladder to achieve my dream. And it's part of the process. Exactly. Wow. Well, this has been tremendous. This topic of couples, I had it there, but you've literally nailed it. You've touched upon so many topics, and I'm sure all of those that are understanding and listening, last 2 minutes we've got now. Well, what other Latino countries are you pointing? They're asking about Argentina, Venezuela. You've worked so hard to open Colombia. Do they have to wait for doTERRA to open? What could they do now? Just in 2 minutes, in a nutshell. Yeah, well, the topic of opening up countries where doTERRA is not present yet is a topic that requires much more commitment, and it requires to support and uphold people that are hearing you, because they will hear you. There will be willing people to do this with you. But what happens? We have to prepare them and say, okay, look, at the beginning, it's going to take a lot. It's every order is going to cost you more money, money and time, money and time. Are you willing for us to do this, even when it costs you money and time as you wait for products to reach you? Now, if you anticipate yourself to those possible reasons that are going to generate most frustration in people, then you won't really have many issues, and then you will be willing and ready to touch people in those countries where doTERRA isn't. And obviously, it is indispensable to surround yourself with a team that have other abilities, because believe me, customer service in that country, that's going to be you. It's not doTERRA, you're going to be customer service, because you have to make the product reach Miami and then make it reach any part of South America, and you will then be in charge of the rest. So that responsibility then makes it require more effort, more resources, more time to be able to get back to people. And the last question, because I had been asked this, when are we going to be having lifelong vitality back in Colombia, the vitamins? Well, listen, it's still uncertain, but we already have the omegas, which are part of the lifelong pack. We already had the racing vino of the multivitamin. It's in process, which is even slower, requires more time, which is alpha CRS. So that is going to take a little longer. There's still no specific date for which we'll be able to have that product in Colombia. Well, thank you so much, Guillermo and Carolina Duque. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure to have you with us, and we hope to see you in person very, very soon with all of our family here in Colombia, and Catherine in Germany. And Bodo, she's so jealous that we have Alice's teaching in Spanish because they don't have them in German. So on her behalf, she's very thankful and um, honored to have you with us. And thanks to all of our audience for connecting with us. This is our family call every month. Our next meeting, if you want to mark it on your agendas and calendars, will be Wednesday, 11 November at the same time, same channel. And just to finish off, we want to give you such big thanks to all of our interpreters that have been working so hard behind the scenes. Thank you, Andrew, from Spanish into English, German, Rebecca, Walter, and Dina Nera into Hebrew, another Colombian. So thank you so much to our interpreters. Thank you to all for connecting today. We want to wish you a very happy day. Don't think about it twice. Share those oils with someone. Perhaps you're going to be the only person that's going to be sharing that to them. So a very big hug to you all. Blessings. See you later. Bye bye. Thank you.